Beauty founders and savior of the whole world, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki, Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Nitai Gaur Premanand. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhakti Naishtiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 16, text number 23. Na Tvam Dvija Uttama Kulam Yadi Ha Atmagopam Natvam Dvijottama Kulam Yadi Atmagopam Gopta Vrishaha Swa Arhanena Sa Sunrutena Gopta Vrisha Swarhanena Sa Sunrutena Tarhi Eva Nakshati Shivaha Tava Deva Panta Tarhi Eva Nakshati Shivastava Deva Panta Lokaha Agrahishyad Rishabhasya Hi Tat Pramanam Loko Agrahishyad Rishabhasya Hi Tat Pramanam Natvam Dvijottamakulam Yedihatma Gopam Gopta Vrisha Swarhanena Sa Sunrutena Tarhi eva nakshati shivastava deva panta Loko agrahishya drishabhasya hittat pramanam Natvam dvijottamakulam yedihatma gopam Gopta vrisha swarhanena sa sunrutena Tarhi eva nakshati shivastava deva panta Loko agrahishya drishabhasya hi tat pramanam
Natvam Dijotamakulam Yadihatmagopam Gopta Vishaswaranena Sasundritena Eva Nakshati Shivastava Deva Pantha Loko Agrahishya Drishabhasya Hitat Pramanam Natvam Dijotamakulam Yadihatmagopam Gopta Vishaswaranena Sasundritena Eva Nakshati Shivastava Deva Pantha
Na, not, Tvam, you, Dvija, of the twice born, Uttamakulam, the highest class, Yadi, if, Ha, indeed, Atmagopam, worthy to be protected by you, Gopta, the protector, Vrishaha, the best, Suvarhanena, by worship, Sasunrutena, along with mild words, Tarhi, then, Eva, certainly, Nankshati, will be lost, Shivaha, auspicious, Tava, your, Deva, O Lord, Pantaha, the path, Lokaha, the people in general, Agrahishyat, would accept, Roshabhasya, of the best, he, because, Tat, that, Pramanam, authority. Translation and purport by Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada. O Lord, you are the protector of the highest of the twice born. If you do not protect them by offering worship and mild words, then certainly the auspicious path of worship will be rejected by people in general, who act on the strength and authority of your Lordship. Please repeat the translation. O Lord, you are the protector of the highest of the twice born. If you do not protect them by offering worship and mild words, then certainly the auspicious path of worship will be rejected by people in general, who act on the strength and authority of your Lordship. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In Bhagavad Gita, it is stated by the Lord Himself that the acts and character of great authorities are followed by people in general. Leaders of ideal character are therefore needed in society. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, appeared in this material world just to show the example of perfect authority, and people have to follow His path. The Vedic injunction is that one cannot understand the absolute truth simply by mental speculation or logical argument. One has to follow the authorities. Mahajano yena gatasya pantaha. Great authority should be followed, otherwise, if we simply depend on the scriptures, we are sometimes misled by rascals, or else we cannot understand or follow the different scriptural injunctions. The best path is to follow the authorities. The four Brahmana sages stated that Krishna is naturally the protector of the crows and the Brahmanas. Go Brahmana Hitaisha. When Krishna was on this planet, he set a practical example. He was a cowherd boy and he was very respectful to the Brahmanas and devotees. It is also affirmed that herein that the Brahmanas are the best of the twice born. The Brahmana, Kshatriya and Vaishya are all twice born, but the Brahmanas are the best. When there is a fight between two persons, each of them protects the upper part of his body, the head, the arms and the belly. Similarly, for the actual advancement of human civilization, the best part of the social body, namely the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas and Vaishyas, the intelligent class of men, the military class and the mercantile men, should be given special protection. Protection of the laborers should not be neglected, but special protection should be given to the upper orders. Of all classes of men, the Brahmanas and the Vaishnavas should be given special protection. They should be worshipped. When their protection is performed, it is just like worshipping God. That is not exactly protection, it is duty. One should worship the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas by offering them all kinds of endowments and sweet words, and if one has no means to offer anything, he must at least use sweet words to pacify them. The Lord personally exhibited this behavior towards the Kumaras. If the system is not introduced by the leaders, then human civilization will be lost. When there is no protection and special treatment for persons who are devotees of the Lord, who are highly intelligent in spiritual life, then the whole society is lost. The word Nankshati indicates that such a civilization becomes spoiled and is annihilated. The kind of civilization recommended is called as Devapata, which means the royal road of the demigods. Demigods are supposed to be fully fixed in devotional service or Krishna consciousness, that is the auspicious path that should be protected. If the authorities or the leaders of the society do not give special respect to the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas and do not offer them not only sweet words but all facilities, then the path of progress will be lost to human civilization. The Lord personally wanted to teach this, and therefore He offered so much praise to the Kumaras. Dasanti Bhakti Vedanta purport. Om Ajnanati Mirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuram Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Nama Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktarunda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So the Kumaras are trying to counteract every point what was stated by the Lord. in earlier glorification. So here they are trying to like apprise the point of the Lord, where Lord is setting an example. He said, Nahi tvam dvijotamakulam yadi hatma gopam. Except you, Nahi tvam. Dvija uttamakulam, the best of the Brahmanas. The twice born, among the best of the twice born are the Brahmanas. Yadi ha atma gopam, if you do not protect them. Gopta vrisha swa arhanena sa sunrutena. Because you are the best person. Gopta, you are the best protector. Unless you give protection, how? Swa arhanena, by worship. Sa sunrutena, with mild words. Unless you set an example by pacifying, when Brahmanas become angry by worshipping them, by offering them mild words. Tarhi eva nankshati shivas tavadeva panta. The auspicious path for the people in general will be lost. Why? Loko agrahishyad rushabhasya hi tat praman. Because people in general will follow the pramanam set by the authorities. So if you do not worship them, nobody will worship them. So in that way, the auspicious path of liberation in this material world will be lost. Deva pataha. That's what the specific word is used here. The translation says, O Lord, O Deva, you are the protector of the highest of the twice born. Dvija uttamakulam atma gopam. If you do not protect them, yadi natvam gopta vrishaha, by offering worship su arhanena and mild words sa sunrutena, then certainly the auspicious path of worship will be rejected by people in general. Tarhi eva shivah panta nangshanti lokaha. Why? Because who act on the strength and authority of your Lordship? Agrahishya tava rushabhasya hi tat pramanam. So whatever the Lord sets as pramanam, people in general will follow. So quoting from Bhagavad Gita, 3rd chapter, Krishna himself was saying, for things to happen in this material world, the king should be of ideal character. So first he was giving the example of King Janaka. Janakadayaha, he says. Because when he is a king also, when he is a great devotee also, they are known as Raja Rishis. Even though a Raja, but he is like a Rishi. So when they were ruling the kingdom, they were ruling as per the standard. So they were seeing that the devotional perspective of all the people who are there in the kingdom are maintained. Because yadyad acharati shreshtas tattateva tarojana. Whatever the standards, whatever the great things performed by great men, common man follows. Sayat pramanam kurte lokasya danuvartate. Whatever standards they set, people imitate that standard. So if the king is a great devotee, why Krishna wanted Yudhishthira Maharaj to be the emperor of the whole world? What is the basis? Because by one person, the king being an example, by he becoming a devotee, the entire kingdom becomes devotee. What is the main purpose of the Lord to come to this material world? Why Lord has to appear in this material world? So one of the primary reasons set by Kunti Maharani is to regenerate the principles of devotional service. So that all the jivas who are rotting in this world can be liberated and they can be taken back home, back to God. For them to go back home, back to Godhead, they should know what is Bhakti Yoga. Because that is the only means and fastest way to go back home, back to Godhead. So Lord comes himself and sets a standard on Bhakti Yoga so that people in general will be able to accept the statements and follow his authority. And in the next verses also Krishna says, if they don't follow him, because there is no duty for the Lord, he is self-independent, but still he performs the duty. Why? If he does not give an example, people will take him as a wrong choice by avoiding duty. When people avoid duty, there will be a confusion, and there will be Varna Shankara in the society. So duty is a must. Then how the duty has to be performed in this material world? So duties has to be performed without attachment. This is the principle what Krishna says in 3rd chapter 19th sloka. The concept of duty, how to be performed in this material world. Tasmad asakta satatam karyam karma karoti yaha asakto hi acharan karma paramapnoti purushaha. How things have to be performed in this material world? It says tasmad asakta satatam. So tasmad, therefore, asakta satatam, always without any asakti, attachment. Karyam karma samachara. Everybody have to perform this karma in this material world. Karyam karma. Execute their duties without attachment. Asakto hi acharan karma. If you perform without attachment, paramapnoti purushaha, you will achieve the supreme. So this is the formula for performing duties in this material world. You do your responsibility but without attachment to the results. So this is the example what Krishna is setting. But first to understand who are these Brahmanas and what are their qualifications. Now we are saying Krishna is defining Brahmanas and their glorification. Now how do we certify who is a Brahmana? What are the qualities he should possess? So there was discussion between one snake and Yudhishthira Maharaj in Mahabharata, where the snake was asking Yudhishthira Maharaj, and Yudhishthira Maharaj is answering. He says, Sarpa uvacha Brahmanah ko bhavet rajan vedyam kimcha Yudhishthira bravihi iti matim tvam hi vakyer anumimi mahe. The snake is asking, O Maharaj Yudhishthira, Brahmana ko bhavet rajan. Oh my dear king, who is a Brahmana? Kimcha vedyam kimcha Yudhishthira. What is the object of his knowledge? Bravihi atimatim tvam hi vyaktir anumimahe. So therefore I will be enlightened by your statements. Because you are a super intelligent man, I want to understand from you. So Yudhishthira uvacha satyam dhanam kshama sheelam anursamyam tapogruna. These are the qualities he is saying. Satyam, truthfulness. Then dhanam, charity. Kshama, forgiveness. Sheelam, character or sobriety. Anursamyam, gentleness. Tapaha, austerity. Gruna and lack. Gruna, drishyante yatra nagendra sa brahmana iti sprutaha. Gruna means lack of hatred. When a person possesses all these qualities, drishyante yatra nagendra, oh my dear snake, wherever in a person if you see all these qualities, sah brahmana iti smrutaha, he is considered as a brahmana. Then sarpa vacha shudreshu api cha shudreshu api cha asatyam cha danam akrodameva cha anrashamsham ahimsa cha grina chaiva Yudhishthira. The snake again asked, Shudras also possess truthfulness, they also possess charity, they also give charity, they are also freedom from anger, non-violence, non-enviousness and lack of hatred. So if anybody else, if they display same qualities, now what about him? This is the question. Yudhishthira is saying, Shudre tu yad bhave lakshma dvije taksha na vidyate navai shudro bhavet shudro brahmano nacha brahmanaha. So, shudre tu yad bhave lakshma. If in a shudra, if you see all these symptoms mentioned, dvije taksha na vidyate. He should be never be called as a shudra, rather than navai shudro bhavet shudro brahmana nacha brahmanaha. Just as a brahmana is not a brahmana if he does not possess these qualities. So if they are possessed in a person, even though whatever birth may be the basis, he is considered as a brahmana. But others may be there, being a birth brahmana, but he does not possess these qualities, he is not a brahmana. So Vedic stricture is, what is the basis of Chaturvarnyam? Chaturvarnyam maya shishtam gunakarma vibhagashaha. This is the basis of Vedic circulation. So now who will decide who is of what character? Who is a brahmana, who is a kshatriya, who is a vaishya, who is a shudra? Will parents decide? No. Guru will decide. When all the students were sent to Gurukula, when Guru will pursue them for certain years of common education, by observing his guna karma, Guru will say, you are a brahmana, you are a kshatriya, you are a big shudra, you are a vaishya. And he will be trained perfection in that particular aspect what he is as per his guna karma, which is very much missing in our modern day education. Yatraital lakshate sarpa vrittamsha brahmana smritaha yatraitam na bhavet sarpa tam shudram iti nirdeshe. So only a person who is endowed with the characteristics of the brahmana can be called as a brahmana, otherwise he is considered as a shudra. So those who are having these specific qualifications, they are treated as brahmanas. And if they are not there, they are considered as shudras. This is the definition what Yudhishthira Maharaj was explaining. Like that, if you go to technical details, there are many other points which emphasis. Now, who is a brahmana, who is a Vaishnava? Now, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, when he was personally present, and when Lord Krishna was also personally present, they were all giving this criteria. Like for example, if you see when Sudama approached Lord Krishna, how Krishna treated him. How did he treat him? He welcomed him, he washed his feet, he sprinkled that water upon his head, then he served him, he gave him mild words because of exhaustion. He would have traveled, physical travel, he was physically walking, he made him rest, he gave him the best food. So how a guest has to be treated? Krishna set an example with him. Then whenever Narada Muni used to come, even though Narada Muni knows Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but Krishna was setting an example by worshipping him, Narada Muni, as the greatest of the devotees. No, Krishna is setting an example in this perspective. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was also, when he was passing through various places, whenever he sees a Vaishnava, even though he may not be of Brahmanical background, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was respecting him. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was accepting prasadam from there also. So in one such context was in this Chaitanya Charitamrita, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited Mathura. Mathura Asya Kaila Vishranti Tirthe Snana Janmastane Keshava Deki Karila Pramane. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after traveling through various places, he reached Mathura. So when he reached Mathura, he went to Vishram Ghat. First he took bath in the Yamuna there, in the Vishram Ghat. Then he went to birthplace of Lord Krishna. There the Keshava deity, he saw the darshan of Keshava deity. Premanande nache gaye sagana hunkara prabhura premavesha deki loke chamatkara. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw Lord Krishna in Krishna's birthplace, he became very ecstatic. He began to sing, dance, and he began to make sounds of huge roaring sounds. Hunkara. Prabhura premavesha deki loke chamatkara. All the people became astonished with the ecstasy of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Eka vipra pade prabhura charana dhariya, prabhu sange nrutya kare prema vishtahana. Then one Brahmana came, fell down at the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then both of them started dancing in ecstatic way. Dunhe prema nrutya kari kare kola kuli, Hari Krishna kaha dunhe bole bahutuli. So both of them were chanting and dancing in such a way, they were raising their arms and they were saying Hari Krishna, and both of them were in an ecstatic mode, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and that Brahmana. Loka Hari Hari bola kola hala hoila Keshava sevaka prabhure mala paraila. So both of them were chanting and dancing and they were making the entire people who are witnessing them to chant. And the pujaris, they brought, the sevaks of the pujaris brought them garland and offered to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yanhara darshane loke prema matta hona hase kande nache gaye Krishna namalana. Just by seeing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his dancing, the entire people who are all witnessing them became ecstatic. Then all of them were laughing, crying, dancing, singing. Krishna namalana, taking Krishna's name, they were all becoming equally ecstatic like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Just by seeing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's dance and ecstatic symptoms. Sarvata Nishchita Inho Krishna Avatara. Everybody decided he is Krishna Avatara. Mathura Aila Lokera Karite Nistara. He came back to Mathura to deliver the entire people. Tabe Mahaprabhu se Brahmana Lana Tanhara Puchila Kichu Nibrate Vasiya. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took that Brahmana aside and started asking, inquiring from him. Arya Sharala to me, Vruddha Brahmana. My dear person, you are an elderly, respectful person, you are an elderly man. Vruddha Brahmana. Kahan haite paile tumi e premadana. From where did you get this ecstatic love for the Lord? Because before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, not many people were conversant with this ecstatic philosophy. Everybody were there, but their worship is in on veneration worship. The symptoms of ecstasy were first sprouted in Madhavendrapuri, so then Ishwarapuri, and it expanded in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he was trying to inquire, where did you get this touch of ecstasy? Vipra kahe Sripada Shri Madhavendrapuri Brahmite Brahmite Aila Mathura Nagari. So that Brahmana was saying, my master Madhavendrapuri, after roaming everywhere, he visited Mathura. Krupakari tenho mora nilaye aila. By being merciful upon me, he came to my house. Nilaye aila. Mora shishyakari mora hate bhiksha kaila. Making me his disciple, he accepted prasadam from my hand. Gopala prakatakari seva kaila mahashaya. Adyapiha tanhara seva govardhane hoya. So then while he was in Mathura, he found out the Gopala deity, established the worship of Gopala deity on the top of Govardhana hill, and he set the standard of worshipping the deity. Suni Prabhu Kaila Tanra Charana Vandana. By hearing this, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became immediately paid obeisances to that Brahmana. Bayapana Prabhu Paya Padila Brahmana. And that Brahmana became very fearful. Why is the sannyasi offering respects to me? He became very shocking and he started offering respects to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Prabhu kahe tumi guru ami shishya praya. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, you are like a guru. Because you are my guru's guru. Because you took initiation from my guru's guru. So you are like on the level of my spiritual master like Ishwarapuri. Because you have been initiated by Madhavendrapuri. So ami shishya praya. I am like your disciple. Guru hona shishya namaskara na yuyaya. And it is the duty of a disciple to offer respects to the spiritual master. Suniya Vismita Viprakahe Bayapana. Then he became very fearful and he became very astonished. Aiche baat kaha kene sannyasi hona. Being a sannyasi, why are you talking like this? Kintu tomara prema deki mane anumani. Madhavendra Purira sambandha dara jani. So by seeing your ecstatic symptoms, I had a doubt that you have somewhere some connection with Madhavendra Puri. Krishna prema tanha yanha tanhara sambandha tahan vina ye premara kaha nahi ganda. This kind of ecstatic love can be experienced only when one has a relationship with Madhavendra Puri. Without him, even a scent of such transcendental ecstatic love is impossible. Tabe Bhattacharya tare sambandha kahila suni anandita vipra nachite lagila. Then Bhattacharya explained to him what is his sambandha with Madhavendra Puri. That his guru is Ishwarapuri, whose guru is Madhavendra Puri. In that way, he is like a grand disciple of Sri Madhavendra Puri. By hearing that, this Brahmana began dancing. Tabe Vipra Prabhura Lana Aila Nijagare Apana Ichaya Prabhura Nana Seva Kare. Then he brought him to his house and out of his desire he started serving Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in various ways. Bhikshalagi Bhattacharya Karaila Randana. Then for serving Chaitanya Mahaprabhu he asked Balabhadra Bhattacharya to cook. Tabe Mahaprabhu Hasi Bolila Vachana. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started laughing and said, Puri Goshani Tomar Gare Kari Achena Bhiksha. Madhavendra Puri himself personally took prasadam from your house. Mora to me Bhiksha Deha, Ye Mora Shiksha. So for me also personally, you please cook and serve me. Yadyad Acharati Shreshtas Tatta Teva Taro Janaha Sayat Pramanam Kurte Lokostad Anuvartate. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was quoting this shloka. Whatever action a great man performs, common men follow, and whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, the whole world pursues. Yadyapi Sanodiya Haye Saita Brahmana Sanodiya Gare Sannyasi Na Kare Bhojana. In Brahmanas also there are different categories. The Sanodiya Brahmana is considered like a lesser category. So if somebody eats at the house of a Sanodiya Brahmana, he will not be treated with a proper respect in the society. Tatapi Puri Deki Tanra Vaishnava Achara Sishya Kari Tanra Bhiksha Kaila Angikara. So Madhavendra Puri saw him, his character, and decided, yes, he is a person of highest grade quality. So that's why he personally took prasadam from his house. Mahaprabhu Tanra Yadi Bhiksha Magila Dainya Kari Sei Vipra Kahite Lagila. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked him to serve the food, So in a very humble mode, he started requesting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Tomara Bhiksha Diba, Bada Bhagya Se Amara. By serving you, it will be a great fortune for me. Tumi Ishvara Nahi Tomara Vidhi Vyavhara. You are the Supreme Lord. For you, there are no rules and no regulations. Murka Loka Karibeka Tomara Nindana Sahite Na Parimu Se Dushtara Vachana. But these foolish people, they start commenting upon your character, and I will not be able to tolerate these foolish people's words. Prabhu kahe Shruti Smriti Yata Grishigana Sabha Eka Mate Nahe Binna Binna Dharma. Then he said, this entire Shruti Smriti, everybody has in different opinions. There is no one proper conclusion. So don't worry about that. Dharma Stapana Hetu Sadhura Vyavahara. The duty of a sadhu is to establish religious principles. Puri Goshanira Ye Asharana Se Dharmasara. And following the footsteps of Madhavendra Puri is the best thing, is the essence of such religious principles. So, and he started saying, Tarko Pratishta Shutayo Vibanna Nasho Rutiryasya Matam Na Binnam Dharmasya Tattvam Nihitam Guhaya Mahajano Yena Gatasya Panta. So, this is the shloka what explained by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, quoting from Mahabharata. So, Tarko Pratishta Shutayo Vibanna. Tarkaha means arguments. And Shutayo Vibhinna, different people give different arguments. And there is no one logical conclusion. Nashav Rushiryasya Matam Na Binnam. Different munis have different propositions. And each one will not agree with the other one. So, a person is muni unless he contradicts other munis. So, he has to establish himself. But Dharmasya Tattvam Nihitam Guhaya. The religious principles are very hidden very in an intricate way in all the Vedic literatures. Dharmasya Tattvam Nihitam Guhaya. They are most confidential. And how they will be revealed? Mahajano Yena Gatasya Panta. By following in the footsteps of Mahajanas, that knowledge will be revealed to us. So this is what the entire purport is explaining about this one particular verse. And Yadyat Acharati Shreshtas. So Krishna is setting an example by himself, by becoming the example. So he was giving this opportunity for all of us, that how a devotee has to be respected, how they have to be identified, how they have to be served. So similarly, in devotee also, when various devotees also, when they were performing various pastimes, they were also seeing the example of these great personalities. So this is one such story of an elephant by name Gopal Das. Earlier we had heard about him, but in this context wise, we thought he is also an appropriate personality. So Rasikananda Prabhu, a great devotee in the Parampara system, the disciple of Shyamananda Prabhu. So they were all preaching in the Orissa province, encouraging people to accept devotional service. So he used to serve the saints on the order of his guru, Shyamananda Prabhu. So they never used to speak any harsh words, and they never used to find any faults with anyone. So because they were all serving, one devotee had donated his bit of land for Shyamananda Prabhu in the service of the Vaishnavas. So this was a huge land where so much amount of rice and grains were being produced, and that grains were used in the service of the Vaishnavas and other personalities. So local Jamindar, when he got to know that there is Shyamananda Prabhu had a huge land and so much income was generated agriculturally and everything and all, he became little envious. He wanted to grab that land, and he declared by using his attorney that this land does not belong to Shyamananda Prabhu, and this land was taken away. He usurped the land. When Shyamananda Prabhu got to know about these details, he became little disturbed, because for the service of the Vaishnavas, when somebody had donated, he became very angry and he wanted to take back that land. So he informed Rasikavananda Prabhu to go and get the work done, to see that things are happened. So Rasikananda Prabhu, he receiving the instruction from his guru, he started walking towards his place where the king is there. So some of Rasika's disciples were also there in that king's administration. So they were very much afraid that the king would insult their guru and even put his life in danger. Then they were instructing him, don't go, this is a cruel man, be careful. But Rasika Murari said, don't be afraid, you don't worry. Then King sent a palanquin for Rasika Murari with his employees, and he invited him with great respect. So everybody were thinking, king is sending a palanquin, there should be some conspiracy. How could such a person will have such a devotion to Rasika Murari? So Rasika Murari sat on the palanquin after meditating upon the lotus feet of his guru. So such preparations were made that Rasika Murari will be carried on the palanquin. Suddenly, one mad elephant will be sent towards the palanquin, which was made drunk with liquor. And seeing that mad elephant, these people who are carrying the palanquin, they will run away. And this mad elephant will go and attack the palanquin with the Rasika Murari inside. That mad elephant will go and hit him and kill him. That was the plan made by that king. So in the meantime, Rasika Murari could understand this entire scenario. So he saw that mad elephant was running towards him. The palanquin carriers, they left the palanquin on the road and they ran away for their lives. When the elephant was coming, generally, elephants, they sense the perception of the opposite person. If you become very fearful, they take up your same characteristic. They also become fearful. But if you stand still there, without not displaying any emotion of fear and all these things and all, they become very calm. This is how elephants are trained and kept handled by the elephant maintainers. So Rasika Murari was standing still there. He was simply chanting the holy name of the Lord. So that elephant which was coming with so rash speed and so mentality of destruction, everything and all, whatever is on the way, it is just it is throwing everything everywhere. It came there. As soon as it came near Rasika Murari, by seeing his peace demeanor, it stood silently there. Then Rasika Murari touched him and he said, "You are one of the living entity, an Amsha of the Supreme Personality of Godhead." So he started preaching him, "You are not this body, you have simply accepted this elephant form. And why are you creating disturbance to the other people? The Lord once took an incarnation to save you as Gajendra Moksha. So you are a descendant of Gajendra. Gajendra was a great devotee. So you should also follow in his footsteps. Yad yad acharati shreshtas," he says. And he says you should follow in his footsteps and you should also become very devotee. You should serve the devotees, you should serve others in whatever best capacity. Like that he preached him and he made him a devotee. And from then, from today, he chanted in his ear, "Your name is Gopal Das." So the devotee became initiated and he became very sadhu. And what is his duty? He used to go around and he used to go to all visiting places, all tirthastalas, have darshan of the Lord there and continuously chant the holy name of the Lord. And serve the Vaishnavas. If somebody who is not able to walk, used to make him sit on him and take him to the place, next destination there. Like that and all, he was engaging in the service of the Vaishnavas and in the service of the Lord. By seeing this change in this elephant, the king who was also standing there, immediately his heart transformed. And he came and fell down at the feet of Rasika Murari and said, "My dear sir, please forgive me. I wanted to test you, but actually I was being tested." So he immediately surrendered and he became the disciple of Rasika Murari and he handed over the land and he handed over his own property also to the service of the Vaishnavas. Then the elephant started following Rasika ji everywhere like a calf follows a cow. The joy was such that the Gopal Das would get the leftover prasadam of Rasikananda Prabhu every day after his meal. So whenever there is a service to saints, he was the ready first person to do some service to other Vaishnavas and all. So whenever he used to see a Vaishnava, he used to bend and offer respects and pay obeisances to that Vaishnava. So whenever items have to be carried from the market to the ashrama, he used to put them on his back. Sacks of rice, sacks of pulses, sacks of potatoes, and that he used to bring them for the service of the Vaishnavas. So Gopal Das used to perform the duty for the Vaishnavas and for the ashram. So once all the traders, they came to Rasika Murari and they started complaining, "My dear sir, this Gopal Das, when he comes to pick up the goods, it was supposed to carry one, it will eat one and it will carry one. So in that way it is creating disturbance. We are losing our source of income. So we can give little, but every day it is coming and wasting so much. It is doing its duty of carrying, but on the way it is disturbing the others also. So whatever it sees, if it likes it, it's going and grabbing and eating." So Gopal Das was also ruled that if there was any special festival or a feast at any place, it will there is a line of saints. Then when all the saints have finished, it used to stand and finish the leftovers and lick and finish everything and all. So then Rasika Murari said to Gopal, look, you are a devotee now. Your conduct should be very right. But one's act of conduct is wrong. But you are doing very Vaishnava. But one simple principle you have to change yourself. You should take only that much which you have been there to take. Means whatever is offered to you, that only you should take. You should not take anything extra. So whatever you eat the food from the other sack, first a devotee should not eat without offering it to Lord. So from today onwards, you should not eat foods or grains that have been not offered to Lord, you should not take. So Gopal Das understood, and he thought it is eating sin, which is eating forcibly from others. So Gopal Das knelt down and accepted his mistake as if he was saying, forgive me. So he said, I will never make this mistake. He made a promise to Rasika Murari. So he became very much fond of serving the devotees, and he started getting the remnants of the devotees' prasadam. So everybody loved him, and everybody would take him, accompany him whenever they were going to forest or for any other work they used to carry with him. So Gopal Das would make them sit on his back and take them around and enjoy serving the saints. He was very much fond of serving. He would do whatever the saints ordered him. If a saint wanted him to get a particular vegetable, he used to go and he used to get that vegetable for that particular saint. And later that bill was sent to Rasika Murari, and Rasika Murari used to pay to that bill, because he used to just go and get that item without giving money. Later bill was sent to Rasika Murari so that the amounts were paid to Rasika Murari. And while he was bringing also, he will never smell and he will never taste it, even though he was bringing with the trunk, because it is bhoga, it is meant to be offered to the Lord. Sometimes the saint would say, my clothes are torn. So Gopal Das will go to market and stand in front of the shopkeeper, cloth shopkeeper. And he used to point out this particular dhoti. Unless the dhoti is given, he will not move. So the dhoti will be given to him and it will be taken back and handed over to that saint. And later bill was sent to Rasika Murari, and Rasika Murari used to pay that amount to the shopkeeper. So the governor of Bengal, he kept a reward for catching this Gopal Das. So wherever Gopal used to go, people used to come there and see a Vaishnava elephant in such a soberly going everywhere, serving Vaishnavas and all. So it became the attraction. Now the king wanted to capture him and put him under his control. So but whenever people who tries to come there to catch him, he used to frighten them and she used to discard them here and there. So it would capture them within his trunk and squeeze them out when they come to try to capture him, and but he would not kill them, but he would spare their life to show that he is not to be captured. So all the soldiers, they came back and informed, this crocodile is not going to be caught. He is blessed with a divine power. Then the governor gave a lot of gold coins as a lucrative thing. Anybody captures this elephant and brought to him, then he'll be given so much prize. Then one person risked himself, putting himself in a saint vesha, and went to near that Gopal, and he started asking him, follow me, because he is a saint. By seeing the dress, Gopal Das started following him. He was immediately captured and Gopal Das was brought to the governor's place. But Gopal Das was offered food and water, but he did not accept. He did not eat anything because it is not offered to the Lord and it is bhoga, so he did not touch anything of that valuable things what is offered to him. So many days happened in that way that Gopal Das stayed hungry, but he left his life because it was not prasadam, it was not offered to him. Because he gave a word to his guru that he will not eat anything which is not offered to the Lord. So in that way, he sacrificed his life rather than eating something bhoga and getting lost into this material. So devotees are such a way that so great, even though he is in an elephant body, he set an example how devotee has to lead his life. Whenever trying circumstances were there, whenever there is disturbing circumstances were there, but their devotion, their commitment to Guru are always maintained. So in that way, so this is an example we can learn from devotees' lives. How a devotee has to be committed to his Guru's instructions. At whatever risk it is, always follow the instructions and make their life successful is the point what we hear here. I'll stop here. Any questions or doubts? ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जगत